Today, I thought I'd start with a very simple demonstration that I saw years ago that was presented to me by an ex-boss and mentor called Adrian Holmes. This is a box. And the idea is to connect A with A, B with B, and C with C without crossing any lines. A with A and B with B is easy. And if you think outside the box, C with C is no problem. Which will make a very strong case for thinking outside the box. But I don't agree. The true solution to this puzzle lies in thinking inside the box. Or should I say the elegant and the better solution. So A with A and B with B is the same. But it is this curve that connects C with C. That is the beautiful part. In the outside-the-box solution, no lines were effectively crossed. But the fundamental rule of effective creativity, which is staying inside the box, was broken. If you're not convinced, let's take a look at tennis. Tennis is a game played inside boxes. There is a set of boxes for the service, there's a set of boxes for the singles, there's a different set of boxes for the doubles. But the best players in the world, their genius is about staying always inside these boxes. If you took away the boxes, tennis would be kind of pointless and very hard to keep score. And if you take away the net, well, you know where I'm going. So what I'm trying to say is if we are fully conscious of the limitations that reality imposes or will impose on our solutions, and we stay within them and we respect them, we will come up with a lot better solutions. The box should be what defines the problem. And let's think about our current situation. We are trapped inside boxes. We are trapped inside a box. We can't leave home. We can't go to work. We can't travel. We can't even go for holidays. We are trapped inside this box. And yet, we've been in this box that we've been trapped for over a year, we have come up with behaviors and solutions and ideas that I'm sure will not go away when we're outside our boxes. I am sure we will travel a lot less for business. I am sure we will conduct a lot more of our working life through video calls. I am sure we're going to video call our friends and our family a lot more in the future. I am sure that when we travel, we're going to stay for longer. All of these things have happened, and the world has been able to carry on because we have managed to stay inside the box, because we have kept trying to do what needs to be done, always staying inside the box. Yet, we are told constantly to think outside the box. And what does thinking outside the box actually mean? Does it mean thinking without constraints? Does it mean never self-censoring your ideas? Or does it mean breaking the rules and ignoring the rules? To me, thinking outside the box is usually when you ignore the rules. And I believe that the limitations are the ones that define the quality of the solution. But I also believe that the limitations should not define the ambition. A vaccine for the world should be effective. A vaccine for the world should be cheap. A vaccine for the world should be easy to store, should be easy to distribute, and should be very easy to administer. The vaccines that stay within that box and within a tighter box are better than the ones that don't. In my business of advertising, ignoring reality and ignoring the limitations that reality imposes usually results in ideas that no budget could cover, that the technology is not there, or ideas that are plain wrong. But if you define a box, if you are clear about the budget, about the objective, if you're clear about the target audience and how they behave and what kind of media they see, your ideas and your solutions will actually work. What I do know you have to do is always think with freedom. Always look at the problem from every possible angle. Walk around it. Turn the box upside down, if you will. Never self-censor. And maybe you can move the box around. You can say, what if we had a little bit more budget? Or what if we didn't talk to these people but talk to these people? you can play around with the limits a little bit, but fundamentally, the box is reality. The fact that a person can't fly is a limitation. But focusing on making a person fly without killing that person is the possibilities. Yogi Berra, the legendary baseball player and coach, famously said, "When you get to a fork on the road, take it." In times of change and uncertainty, only those who embrace the difficulties while permanently moving forward will thrive. That has been the essence of our survival, and that, in this case, will be the essence of our revival. So let's go back to my business. In my business of advertising, there are many, many restrictions and things that define the box, and not least that the target audience, the target audience, don't really care about what we're trying to say. But one of the things that does not define the box is what has been done before. So in order to deliver an important message, an emotional message that we wanted to deliver during the period of Christmas, we had to bear in mind that, one, the people we needed to reach did not watch television or mass media. Two, that when they left their places where they left, or when they moved, they usually moved around at night and through very well identified but very hard to reach jungle paths. We had to be able to implement this communication piece literally overnight, and we had to do it across very different and diverse regions of the country. So thinking outside the box and not respecting those limitations would have probably yielded a beautiful film, a beautiful piece of content of a homecoming, of people coming together. It would have almost felt like a soft drink commercial for Christmas, but that's not what Christmas is like for these people. These people were felt like prisoners. They wanted to talk to their families. They wanted to join their friends, and their friends were literally 2 miles down the road. They just couldn't come together, and so our solution was completely inside these boxes. What we did was we identified some gigantic trees in the jungle, covered them in Christmas lights, and these trees were located in the walking paths the guerrilla used. We covered them in Christmas lights, and they had a banner that said, "If Christmas can come to the jungle, you can come home. At Christmas, anything is possible." It was cheap, it was visible, it was easy to implement, it was fast. And at no time in the over 50 years war that Colombia had been suffering through had there been more demobilized guerrillas during that period. This led to other incredible solutions that responded to surreal limitations. But and it also led to about 18,000 demobilizations, which eventually led to the peace that my country so desperately needed if it was going to experience a true revival. Now, let's look at what I consider classic outside-the-box thinking, quadraphonic. You probably have no idea what that even means. It turns out that someone thought that if you recorded music using 4 channels, printed the vinyl records in a particular way, and precisely placed 4 speakers around the room and placed yourself facing in a certain direction, you would enjoy the music a lot more. The fact that you've never heard of quadraphonic records or systems, but are fully familiar with the concept of hi-fi and stereo, which respond to the ambition that you want to hear music with better quality, and stereo, which means you only have 2 ears, is, in my opinion, a very clear example of how you should stay always inside the box. There's boxes and there's limitations everywhere. In my industry, coming back to advertising, during the lockdowns, we have had to carry on shooting and producing commercials and spots and photographs and communication for our clients. And in this particular case, we had to ship equipment and cameras and lights to the houses of the actors and direct them via WhatsApp or via Zoom, and have this whole setup, and they would film themselves doing or acting out their scenes in their living rooms or in their terraces or in their kitchens or wherever that needed to be. So a typical shoot would look like this, and the end result looked like this. So if you're conscious of the limitations and stay focused on the result you want and you need, you can keep your eyes on the donut and not on the hole. You can remember that you need to get a finished commercial and not worry about the limitations. The limitations need to be solved. So revival is not really about what we can't do anymore and then coming up with entirely new things to do. It is much more about doing what needs to be done in spite of the circumstances. So if we focus on the task and embrace the limitations, we will prevail. And I think what you need to do is, as I said before, look at the problem from all sorts of different angles. Here's an example that I think is extraordinary. The senior students of Central St. Martin's need to work all of their last year of school on a graduation project. And this graduation project needs to be displayed and needs to be shown to the public. And during their academic year, they usually have workshops, and they have tools, and they have teachers and mentors around them, and the university offers studio space, and it also offers a display space, and it offers galleries, and that creates interaction with the work and makes it easy for the students to display their work and show it to their professors who are grading them and to the general public. And even though these are difficulties themselves, they are the usual difficulties. But halfway through last year, these students were working on their projects. They were working on their graduation projects, and they had a whole vision set out, and everything changed right in the middle. And one of them particularly illustrates the way these limitations actually made the project a lot better. Sandra Paulson is an Angolan native, and she began a project where she went back to her native Angola and started gathering information and documents and artifacts and moments and headlines and oral tradition that she thought defined the economic, political, ethnic, and cultural landscape of her native land. In her own words, and I quote her here, "This ongoing project utilizes a selection of common household Angolan items to discuss the relationship between family and inherited societal memory from colonial Angola and the Civil War." The project then evolved into prototyping and building artifacts made of wood, of screen prints, of metal, slowly becoming what should have been an impressive display of art, research, performance, and a strong confrontation with reality. But lockdown happened in London. Sandra was confined to her living space, where she could not continue to develop the work in the way she had envisioned it. In search for a solution, she started to use the roof of her next door flat. And in that, she kind of colonized that roof. She occupied it without permission, and then she met the owners, and it became literally a colonization, which kind of switched her mentality dramatically and changed the essence of the project. In her words, "I began an 8-week self-led roof occupation, which at points, I argue, perhaps became the actual work." Sandra's project evolved, changed, and blossomed because of her determination, but also because she accepted the limitations and worked within them and found herself in a completely new and uncharted territory. And I think this is what staying inside the box can do. Revival is only possible if the solutions we come up with or the changes we come up with are doable, practical, and real. Revival, in my opinion, is a pure act of stubbornness. It is a triumph of creativity over the circumstances. Reality imposes the box. Imagination is our weapon. Revival has to come from inside the box. Thank you.